Mixies presents the Popcast. Hey, my name is Brian, that is Shane, and this is the Popcast, and today, you guessed it, we're talking about the America's Got Talent finale, where we find out the winner of America's Got Talent Season 12. The poop storm it was has finally ended, and we know who won this thing, and guess what? It's who we thought was going to win like 18 episodes ago. So, hey, let's do it. Let's get into it, bros.
Man, we knew, I got to tell you, America, you got this right.
Yeah.
And let me tell you how you didn't get it right. You didn't get it right necessarily from the most entertaining aspect. So I want to tell you, it's called America's Got Talent, not America Entertain Us. And So here's the thing. I don't think Angelica Hale was the most entertaining of everybody. Obviously, I felt Light Balance was much more entertaining than Angelica Hale. But Angelica Hale has more talent than anybody else.
Apparently.
And maybe it is, except for Darcy.
Apparently, Angelica Hale has more talent than both Ketchy and Kelly Clarkson because, wow. Did she show up those two grown adults or what?
Oh, yeah. I mean, she has it, man, and that's what this show's all about. It's about the talent. So Mandy Harvey, she worked really, really hard. She overcame something, but it's arguable that other deaf people might be able to work hard and do the same thing. Angelica Hale was born with this blessing, or whatever you want to call it, with this talent. Obviously, Darcy Lynn, I don't think just anybody can go be a ventriloquist and after 2 years be able to actually be out there and outperform Terry Fader. So how many of you? I felt like she did.
How many of you were last night watching that? Were trying to do it like America. Everybody was trying to do it, like make an M sound.
Yeah. Everybody in my family, my wife was over and over doing like the ABC and stuff.
America's Got Talent. It's hard to do.
Try now. A, B, C, D. Yeah, look, I screwed up on B. I can't even do it.
So, anyways, let's get into this real quick. We got to pay some bills. Per se. Actually, we're not paying any bills. We're just talking about giving stuff away. 400 subs, Seafood Secret, spectacular milestone giveaway.
But has been achieved.
Has been achieved!
Yeah!
Explosions! Light flare! J.J. Abrams, Bruckheimer! Yes, we have achieved 400. We are now past 400. Thank you, my friends. Thank you so much. Now, what's the next one, Shane?
Okay, the next one will be 800 subs, but we really have to get our arms wrapped around what the heck's going on here. So
yeah, we're growing faster than we thought we would.
So we are. We're doing a lot more shows. Things are happening faster. So, and we don't have as many openings to do these giveaways as we thought we would. So here's what we have right now. We have Parker Randall's box went out. The video was shot, and we'll actually put that up this weekend.
Yes.
So Parker, who came on our last show and said, "Are you guys going to send me my prize soon?" ? Obviously, Parker, you didn't watch the end of your video because of the last episode, because we sent out your video, buddy, or we sent out your box.
Yeah. So box on the way, Parker.
And watch the video this weekend. Okay.
And I sweat my butt off for you, Parker. I sweat my butt off for you.
Yeah. And about those 400 subs, just say, Siberia Winks and Dan Oreo Productions, thank you for the congrats. They actually commented and congratulated us for the 400 subs.
I love Siberia Winks.
Well, Siberia is very communicative with us, and she has a lot of ideas, and I love that. And she doesn't let us get away with nothing. So we've done 10 more shows, and we did say after another 10 shows we would do another boxing.
We did.
So guess what? So we owe you guys that. We owe you guys the 400 sub super spectacular giveaway, which is a surprise, and you guys it's going to be really cool. And I don't think you're going to surprise on a channel where we've got 400 subs that we're going to give away something as cool as we are, but we're going to. Also, then we also have what is the next giveaway? There's something else.
And then
400 subs, the boxing
for 10 videos. 400, and then boom, 800.
We're going to do 800, which we're going to get to really fast.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure it's growing that fast. So we might be talking about this again next week. And hey, good for you guys. Keep commenting. I'm so impressed with a lot of the comments that we get from everybody.
Speaking of
It's
one,
been fantastic.
Siberia offered her services as an assassin, and I'm gonna have to require those services if you can email me, Siberia, because if you look real closely here, see this? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All around my hairline, I have hives. Last night, in fact, if this show is a little rough from your perspective to mine, I didn't sleep last night. After the finale, I attempted to go to sleep and woke up with red, itchy hives all over my head.
Ouch.
Because I am allergic to something called PPD. It's a very popular chemical that's in hair dye. Who would have thought? Apparently, 5% of the world is actually allergic to this thing, so it's not really something people worry about.
Dude, you're always telling me how special you are.
I've never been allergic to anything else my entire life, but I'm allergic to this thing in hair dye. And I ended up in the emergency room last night at 4 in the morning so I can get a topical Benadryl thing to put on my head. So while it's not going to remove the hives, it'll remove the horrible itching. And I have to go today, later on, and get either a haircut or a peroxide wash to get rid of the dye in my hair, or my head's eventually going to swell up to the size of Shane's. And we don't want that.
Wait a sec. Okay, so whatever, man. But listen.
So I'm going to need your services, Siberia, because Shane is trying to poison me. He's trying to poison me.
Hey, listen, who would have guessed that you're so delicate? But whatever.
I don't know. You're a very intelligent guy. I could see you definitely guessing that.
Yeah, I was like, this guy's, I can poison him right now.
To
Take
PPD.
over the whole show.
Oh, yeah.
Just myself. Hey, so Lynette Goodson left a comment. She said, this is a brutal punishment. And guess what, Lynette? It turned out even more brutal because Brian now has hives.
I was up all night. It was horrible. And then I spent 2 hours in the emergency room. Horrible.
Yeah. You know what's funny is CW Calls, one of our other viewers, he was like, Brian's punishment is missing one thing. He didn't get beat by sticks. Well, guess what? Now it looks like he did. Yeah. So it's like dreams do come true.
Yeah.
Right? I'm sorry, man.
Me and Sarah
I feel bad
too. Yeah. So, anyways, that's that. It happened. Whatever.
It happened. You know, the punishment's over.
Next episode, either my hair is going to be orange because of the bleach, which might be worse actually, or it might just be shaved, which is to me the ultimate worst thing. I don't want a shaved head. I don't look good with like no hair and just a beard, you know.
But just imagine how cool, like people even in prison might even be afraid of you then. Be kind of cool.
No.
A little bit? No?
Won't be cool. Okay.
Especially
I'm going to try the bleach first and see if that works. So tomorrow my head should be, not bleach, but the peroxide. Tomorrow my head should be whitish, orangish, in order to get rid of the dye that's infecting my skin.
So basically it could look like Mel B's hair from the finals. Basically.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on. So we talked about our giveaways. So keep subscribing. Let's get to 800. Let's do it again.
Let's do it.
And let's keep it going. So the show last night, Darcy Lynn, big time winner. Were you surprised at the top 5 and how that went down? I mean, I know there's other stuff we got to talk about with the show and like all the people who are on.
Yeah, we want to break it down from scene to scene.
You want to go from the top? Okay, let's do it.
Yeah, but I'll answer you real quick.
Yeah.
Wasn't very surprised in the top 5. A couple of things that would have switched out, but pretty much what I thought it was going to be.
Really? I thought you would have been upset that Preacher wasn't in there.
I thought Preacher would be in there. But we'll get to that because the hidden Preacher versus Darcy Lynn was pretty funny.
Yeah, that was a great run-up.
So the show opened with all the 10 acts and Tyra Banks coming out of those big doors, you know, and reminding us what we just spent the last 6 months watching, and it's been a fun ride. You know, as much as I complain about AGT, I'm gonna miss not watching it every week. You know, I'm gonna be waiting for it next year. I hope they make changes. There's a change I'm pretty sure they're going to make based on tonight's show, and I hope the production staff makes changes. You know, telegraphing the acts going through, that's just a death blow to what they're trying to do. So
back in judges cuts and whatnot. Yeah, that needs to
I
change.
feel like that's going to have to change. And I feel like some of the judges are going to change, but we'll get to that. Speaking of the judges, I loved seeing Howie in that tux, and reminding me of why I like Howie. There's things about Howie I don't like, but there's things about Howie I do like. So I hope he stays on the show. He's not doing anything anyways, right? And then after that,
well, he's still doing shows.
Yeah, he does do some stand-up, right? The first act was Ketchy, Angelica, and someone who looks surprisingly like Kelly Clarkson. Right? It looks like Kelly Clarkson.
Like a larger version of Kelly Clarkson?
Looks like maybe like Kelly Clarkson's like mother, maybe her very much older sister. So I know I sound like a jerk right now, but listen, I'm fat.
I haven't heard her in a while. I haven't seen her in a while.
I'm not even saying she's fat. I'm saying that she's fundamentally a different looking person. It's almost like she gained weight and then hit this plastic surgery. Or I don't know, maybe it's not plastic surgery. I don't know what it is. I don't think it's plastic surgery. She looks pretty natural. Whatever it is, I remember Kelly Clarkson from like a decade ago, and when they called her name, I did not recognize the person that came out. I was like, "That's not Kelly Clarkson, is it?" I had to go Google it, and she is, and she has gotten in some straight up, no hold barred Twitter fights over her weight, and props to her, but she looks way different to me. And
well, 10 years
it's not just the weight. It's not just the weight.
Well, I mean, it's 10 years. 10 years does a lot to anybody.
True, yeah. Didn't she have a child, too?
I don't know. I don't follow.
I don't know either. I'm just assuming that was some kind of life-altering thing, because she looks way different to me. Anyways, she rocked it out with Angelica and Ketchy. What do you got to say about that, Shane? Because I got a lot to say about that.
Well, I do want to say that, of course, I don't know who doesn't know that Kelly Clarkson was the winner of the very first American Idol.
That's right.
So it's been even longer than 10 years since she's, I think it's probably been 15, 16 years now since that happened. And them singing together, I thought was kind of a cool idea, but it really showed the difference in how good people are. And I think you wanted to talk about that especially Angelica.
As much as I love Ketchy, boy, you put her up next to Angelica Hale, and you realize pretty quick how much better Angelica Hale is than Ketchy. I never really watched them back to back. Like, they never really had them back to back before. Angelica Hale usually opens the show, and Ketchy usually closes the show.
They've been all over the place, but definitely not. They don't follow each other up very much.
Right.
So.
That was very interesting because they had Ketchy singing like the lead spots. And Angelica singing the chorus, and I know why, because if Angelica was singing the lead, she would have just dominated that stage.
Yeah, they almost felt like they were kind of tamping her down with her portion of the performance. I mean, she would have knocked them both out.
She would still amp that portion up. It was pretty, props to Angelica Hale. She's very talented.
She is, but it definitely shows.
Yeah, and I gotta be honest, I feel like she even sort of upstaged Kelly Clarkson.
Definitely. She definitely upstaged Kelly.
Yeah.
I mean, Kelly Clarkson has some good songs out there. They sang one of them. That was one of her more popular songs.
Her most popular
Angelica
song.
Hale. Angelica Hale she's got that voice, man. She's going to be dangerous 10 years from now. I'm telling you, she's going to be huge.
Yeah. And then I got to be honest, the second song Kelly Clarkson sang, meh. I guess that's a new song on her album.
That's the new song. Yeah. Once you've been popular, it's hard. Unless you're like Aerosmith, it's hard to get a second life.
Yeah.
In this, it's hard to come back better. A lot of people have tried. Most people have tried. Very few people succeed, and unfortunately, that's just the way things change.
Well, I agree. Next up was that weird sort of spot where they were talking about how Mel B is like living in like the next day, doesn't really know what's going on.
What the heck was that? What were they trying to capture there? I mean, I don't think we really got that from a fan perspective. I didn't see that throughout the season. I guess it's more of a behind the scenes thing.
I mean, I saw a little bit of it, but it wasn't like the producers definitely didn't show too much of that. But they basically were saying, yeah, she's slow, but they weren't using the word slow because they can't. But they were basically saying that. And then when they were having the interviews with her, she was like, huh? What? It was.
I mean,
It was interesting. I haven't seen that before.
I mean, Mel B's got enough things wrong going on that they're going to highlight now how dumb she is, or airheaded, or whatever the heck they want to call it.
Right, like airheaded or something.
They really gave her kind of I don't know if it was a sucker punch. She probably knew it was coming. She kind of played into it when they did that game, where how much do you know about America's Got Talent?
Oh yeah, we're gonna get to that too. But yeah, you're right. She had one point, and Simon had every question. So
yeah, I love the ending of that. Well, I guess we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah, we're gonna get there. Okay, next up after that was Diavolo performing in spectacular fashion, I guess.
Well, here's my question. I don't know how. I felt weird about seeing a couple of the acts re-performing old acts. It felt very rewashed, strange almost. It felt weird.
Yeah.
Not comfortable, abrupt, quick. I don't even know how to put it. It felt weird.
That was
out
like
of place.
mainly Diavolo though, right? Everybody else did something at least a little bit new.
Well, Diavolo, and then right after Diavolo, there was one more that was
Light Balance.
That was one that was basically the same thing. So I don't know. It was kind of weird.
Yeah, I gotta say, I didn't like that performance when I saw. I actually don't even remember seeing that performance. That's how. If it did happen before.
It happened.
Okay, well, I obviously wasn't interested then, and I'm not really interested now.
It felt abrupt. It was like half of their original performance. It felt,
That's probably why.
It was the one with the half.
Moon
the half
thing.
Moon. Yeah, it's with the Harry Styles song, which, by the way, I like the song a whole lot. I don't know what's happened, but I am like all about that Harry Styles song, and I got it in my head all the time, and I actually went and downloaded it, so never thought I'd be saying that. But.
Yeah, no. And like the scenes behind it with all the explosion chaos, I was like, that sums up this performance, like the camera's just all over the place. It's just zooming in and out. It's like, I'm getting a headache. Yeah.
Yep.
Next up was Light Balance. That was they performed the same one, but they had a special guest, right?
Yeah, they did.
Who I didn't recognize and didn't know. So
I don't know. Yeah.
Cool. I guess he's a dancer. Speaking of, we gotta talk at the end of the show about after the show. We gotta talk about somebody asked us if we're gonna do the voice, and we don't know. Just to let you guys know, I don't know if we're gonna do the voice. I've never seen it. Shane's never seen it.
Well, I don't think we're going to do the voice. Because we're actually, I guess we're here. We're actually going to be doing Survivor is the next reality.
We're definitely doing Survivor because the punishment for whoever loses the bet on Survivor is going to be epic.
We're going to put somebody in the woods. That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah. Naked and afraid style. Naked in the woods with nothing but one of those little flint starters.
Nobody wants to see that here, man. Nobody.
With an IR night vision GoPro. Just have them survive for the night. Yeah.
Yeah. No. So
one
yeah,
of us
we're
gonna
actually.
do that. I can just imagine Shane out there covered in mud.
Well, we were going to talk about our lineup probably later. And kind of at the end of the show, we'll talk about everything we're going to do, because the people who were here to watch us do AGT, we want you guys to come with us on some of the other things we're going to be doing. So we'll give you, all the different shows that we're going to be covering, leading up to that.
Okay, next was what I like to call the Losers Pantheon.
Oh, I love those. I like every reality show that brings these guys back. I always like that.
Yeah, I love seeing Pumpkinhead again. He's hilarious.
It was a little too short. I love how they did the whole thing where they're like, "You're not welcome here. You don't have an invitation." That was cool. Watching
Tyra interact with them in that crazy like Mad Max outfit, that was fun. The pooping unicorn. That was fun to watch. To be honest, obviously I don't want to see any of these people win, but seeing them in this like choreographed thing was fun to watch.
And they're a part of the legacy of this season. So
yeah,
I think it's important that they're.
Hey, I went and watched the Dancing Pumpkin YouTube videos after this after I saw him perform.
Oh, okay.
He's funny.
Yeah, he's pretty funny. I want to give a credit to Tyra. I think she really meshed here at the end of this season. I felt like she really closed out the finals really well. Strong, good. I'm not a big Tyra Banks fan, and But I felt like the last 2 nights she did a really good job.
That's high praise from Shane. When
It
he
really
said he's
is.
not a real big Tyra Banks fan, he is not a Tyra Banks fan. That's
I don't like her.
To be more clear, he doesn't like her.
She was rude to somebody we know.
Yes, and then when we saw her when she started the show, she actually was rude to someone we know. And then when she started the show, she was weak at the beginning of the season, but she definitely did wrap the season much better. And I gotta say, she was better than a couple of the judges. So.
Yeah, no, she ended up being better. I don't know what the heck's going on with her hair there. She looked a little crazy, but I'm not a good judge of hair characters. So
now,
obviously, what you have.
Yeah, so we actually had a slight bias there from the Gets because she was actually, now I know why, because she was rude to somebody that did us a favor once.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's where we'll end it. Let's talk about Sarah and Hero. We are not even allowed to talk about that. I don't know why you brought it up.
I'm sorry. I didn't even think you were going to follow me with it.
She literally said, do not talk about this. All right, Sarah and Hero, the little segment where they're teaching the judges how to perform with the dogs, and they ended up teaching. She ends up teaching Howie apparently some new tricks. I don't know.
All of them. It was actually kind of funny.
Yeah, it was kind of funny.
A little bit. It's weird seeing people with their dogs. It always changes your perspective on people when you see them with their animals.
Yeah, Simon has these two little tiny itty bitty like terrier dogs.
Yeah, he's got three of them. Three of them.
My bad.
Yeah, and it was really weird. See, I don't know. It was, they did some tricks, I guess. Apparently she must be a good dog trainer because she was even able to get their dogs to do some things. And then, Howie, kind of did what he normally does and wrecked the set.
Yeah, Howie is funny. He's a funny guy. I mean, he's funny in sort of a cheesy way, sort of a dad way, but there's moments of gold there, and it works. Before I've said some negative things about Howie, but I hope they keep Howie on the show.
I do too. He's a big. I feel like he's a necessary part of the show. He gives that the acts that may not, that may not be that great, but should be seen more. He gives it that voice. Like the dancing Trump.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Okay, next up was okay, I know this was Mandy Harvey and Shania Twain, but the person that introduced them was Marlee
Matlin.
Marlee Matlin.
You know what's crazy about that?
When I gotta have a question though. When she's doing the sign language, right, and the guy behind her, her translator, is actually doing the speaking while she's doing the sign language. He is perfectly translating what she's saying in like a perfect announcer voice, announcing these two people perfectly. Props to him. And then I realize he is standing behind her. He's not translating, right? He's just reading the same script, right?
Yeah, so I mean,
how can he even see her hand
know, unless you know sign language, nobody's really gonna know. But obviously it's a script. She's looking into a teleprompter. He's probably looking into a teleprompter, and eventually maybe it lags. I would love to know from somebody who understands sign language. Was she lagging behind him? Was he ahead of her? How did that work? Or maybe he had a little thing where he could see her. There was a mirror or something. I don't know how that works, but I didn't notice that. It's interesting that you brought that up.
I mean, not that it even matters, but I feel like he didn't get very much credit for what appeared to be a very good job announcing these people.
Well, they never do. The translators never. They're supposed to be invisible. I mean, their job. They're not. Marlee Matlin is an award winner. She's the most famous deaf person that I'm aware of, and I thought during the show, I bet they bring Marlee Matlin into this somehow at some point.
Right.
She was even on, I think, Celebrity Apprentice as well.
She was.
But yeah. But Marlee Matlin, she came in, she did the announcement. It was I'm deaf. Deaf people are amazing, and they did that whole thing, and then brought out Shania Twain and Mandy Harvey.
Right. Now let's talk about Shania Twain and Mandy Harvey. By the way, guys, if I'm not trying to sound offensive. I'm really actually curious about some of these things, so I'm asking questions, and I really want to know how the translation works.
Yeah, you're typically pretty offensive though, anyways.
Yeah, I mean I am. But to be fair, but in that instance, I was actually asking a question. I don't mind Matt, whatever.
Yeah, you didn't see enough of her to get to criticize her. I get.
Yeah, there's no criticism there. I'm just wondering how it works because he was standing behind her while she was signing, right?
Why didn't the guy who's not deaf get credit? Come on.
And that's not the case either. It's more like he did a pretty good job. If he's translating that and on the fly, all that vocal inflection, like, wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, he should have just shoved her aside and did it himself. Why not?
All right, next up was Mandy Harvey and Shania Twain. And boy, is Mandy Harvey a better singer than Shania Twain. Oh my God.
Last night, for sure.
I never thought Shania Twain was a bad singer until I saw her sing up against Mandy Harvey, who can't even hear what she's singing.
Well, yeah, in all fairness to Shania Twain, okay, she was popular a long time ago.
Yeah.
But I did say, when they came out and they're singing You're the One, which is a fantastic Shania Twain song, I said, dang, Shania, don't you have any new music? You know, I'm like, come on, you know, we're going back that far. We're going to sing one of those hits. And then the second song was one of her new songs. And I'm like, all right, let's go back to the old music.
Let's go back to You're the One. Yeah.
We don't have to do this new thing.
Yeah, the second song was horrible.
It was brutal.
Honestly, it sounded like, I mean, it just sounded so amateur. I never thought I'd be criticizing Shania Twain because I grew up with her. And I always just thought she was like the standard for something that's good, but I never really listened to her except for the songs that you just mentioned. And she is not very good now. And versus Mandy Harvey showed her up. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, Mandy Harvey sounded great.
Boy, is she talented. Mandy Harvey is Mandy Harvey is super talented or she's singing with someone who's not very talented.
Well, and also Shania, and I don't know if you noticed this or not, I kind of noticed that Shania was kind of watching her when she was singing. I don't know if because Mandy can't hear that Shania, in order to do a duet with someone, Shania would be responsible for keeping up with her. When two people do a duet, it's generally there's a natural coming together that you just kind of feel each other and you get into a rhythm with another person.
Right.
And, you know, Shania and Mandy couldn't do that last night. So I wonder if Shania had to kind of focus on staying with her instead of focusing on her voice.
That's a good point.
Maybe that's what happened. I mean, I haven't seen Shania sing in a long time. She has one of the greatest country albums, female country albums, I think, of all time. You know, so it's tough. I hate to criticize her, but
so I agree with that. But what I hate is the articles that I saw this morning saying like Shania Twain slays performance of newest hit and duets with Mandy Harvey, and like there's a few articles. I'm like, no, that did not happen.
Well, you know that's marketers trying to, you know, she's trying to build a brand again.
That's on. I bet. On Access Hollywood and like pretty big websites. So I understand that they're going to be biased to.
Yeah, they all keep it positive, man.
I disagree
Access
with
Hollywood
that too.
Doesn't judge.
They're not positive with people they don't like. They just like Shania Twain. But to be
Access
honest,
Hollywood,
she didn't slay anything last night. Honestly, she sounded old and tired versus a Mandy Harvey who sounded fresh and ready to go.
Right, but shows like Access Hollywood, you don't ever watch those shows and go, oh, wow, they were terrible last night on the show. It just doesn't work that way. It's a very positive, you know, energy type of show. They don't do that.
Unless they're talking about comedians. Then every comedian is a horrible person that deserves to apologize for something.
Well, if you would have been watching, now TMZ might have been a different story. They might have flame sprayed her.
Maybe. All right, so let's get off of Shania Twain because I'm actually getting angry. Sorry, I'm just realizing that all these like journalists are just like not being journalists. Anyways, on to the next act. We got to see Darcy and what's that guy's name?
You're talking about now which one? Because she was with Jeff Dunham first. In the back, in the green room,
Jeff
or whatever
Dunham,
you want to call
with
it.
The old
with
puppet.
Jeff Dunham. Yeah, very famous. Jeff Dunham been doing ventriloquism for a long time. That puppet is very famous in the ventriloquism world.
That was a really cool scene. I liked their interaction. I gotta be honest though, I sort of liked the interaction more when the dolls came to life. That was sort of funny.
Well, it was still their voices.
Right.
So, and the puppet's name's Walter, by the way.
Walter. I like Walter.
Yeah, he's great.
I like how the detail of the hair in his ears. It's sort of funny.
Yeah, no, he's Jeff Dunham was the bar before Terry Fator.
Well, speaking of Terry Fator versus, not versus, with Darcy Lynn on the main stage.
Man, I got to tell you, it showed how good Darcy Lynn was when she was upstaging Terry Fator a little bit in that show. She was a little better than him, I think.
A little bit. But Terry Fator had nothing to prove, so.
That's true, and he was probably playing to her a little bit because it's her show. But I felt like she stayed up with him. She was strong. I mean, she's 2 years ventriloquism, and she stayed. I mean, I felt like they were just doing their own show. I mean, it's just more proof that the right person won America's Got Talent last night.
Yeah, I love that part though when they were trying to hold the note and and the tortoise had to grab the water, and the look on Terry Fator's face was like,
yeah, yeah, that was great.
That was good, man. That was good.
He's a master, man. There's a reason why he's the best act in Vegas. He's at the Mirage.
Have you seen him?
I have seen him.
I've seen him too. Yeah, I like him. Okay, next up was the segment with Preacher and Howie. First of all, that joke that Preacher told, knock knock, who's there? No one, because I was evicted, was hilarious.
That was a good joke.
And when he's like, now I walk through the Walgreens, people are like, oh, Preacher, hey, Preacher. Go clock in because you're late for your shift.
Yeah, that was actually a really good joke.
Yeah, that was funny. And, I like seeing, first of all, I love, I always forget his name.
Kevin Nealon?
Kevin Nealon. Thank you, Shane. This is why you're amazing, Shane.
Oh, thank you, man.
I'm going to forgive you for the itchy hives on my head.
I'm so sorry about that, man.
Kevin Nealon, Howie Mandel, and Preacher sitting down in one of those comedy clubs. I can watch, if they did an hour-long podcast once a week, I would be a faithful listener of that. That'd be amazing. Okay. Just watching those three just riff about the industry and whatnot. That little 2 minutes we got felt so natural to me. I want to see that. I want to see that every week.
Yeah, Kevin Nealon's a very easy-going guy. He's like years and years.
Butter.
Yeah, years and years on Saturday Night Live. Nothing bothers that guy. And he's a rock. I was surprised to see him. I just didn't see it coming. I was like, oh, Kevin Nealon. All right. Yeah. And it was funny when he was up on stage. He's like, so this is what I look like.
Mm.
It was pretty funny. It would be fun to go to one of those small comedy venues with somebody like a Kevin Nealon, or even with Howie Mandel doing it. He did his Bobby voice.
I've done that.
Explained his
the Bobby voice is like super impressive. My God.
He said he got it from when he was choking on something. That's where the voice came from.
Oh, really?
Pretty funny. That's what he said on the show.
I went to a comedy club in Fullerton once called the Laugh Factory, and I was going there to see some no-name guy. And dude, Fluffy, the guy that says,
Fluffy was there.
Yeah, Fluffy showed up about 5 minutes after that guy's first set, and he's like, "Hey, just want to let you guys know it's actually going to be my show tonight. My good friend was opening for me. I don't want to announce it because I want everybody to come. I want to work on some new material. You guys good with that?" And I'm like, "Yes. I paid $13 to be here, and I'm watching Fluffy 6 feet away from me. It was like, what an experience."
Yeah, Gabriel Iglesias, he has become such a huge comic. He was actually at the Ventura County Fair this last in August, and I got to tell you, the lines were down the street. It was ridiculous, backed up traffic because it was a free show.
And
wow,
and
he's great.
And his shows cost a lot of money. He does big amphitheaters. Yet I got to watch him in a comedy club with like 30 people who paid rock bottom price to watch some no names that no one knows. And we were that was what we thought we were going to do. We thought we were going to eat a decent meal and watch someone try to make us laugh. And then
that's
boom,
cool.
Gabriel comes out and does an hour and a half. It was fantastic.
That's great.
Next up was Evie Claire. She did a song that she wrote, joined by what's his name?
James Arthur.
James Arthur, who I'm now a fan of, by the way.
Wow, he's got a great voice, right?
That guy's
Man,
voice.
There's a reason why he's making music, right?
Wow, I don't know what to tell you, but I didn't know who that was until last night, and I immediately Googled him, and I got his albums on my wish list now on Amazon. Wow, just wow.
Yeah.
He's amazing. You know, Evie. You know, is she saying that she wrote that song? It was okay. You know, I have a lot of pride for what she's accomplished and what she's been through and how she keeps going and just working. She's such a strong individual. Very much props. She's gonna get a record deal. She's gonna get something. She's gonna be just fine because she finished top 10 of AGT.
Yeah, and you know, Evie is she's got kind of one flavor to her. You know, that's the thing about Evie. She's got a very soft, angelic sound, the way she sings, and there's an entire niche market of people who love that type of voice quality, and they're gonna love her forever.
Yeah,
so she'll be just fine.
She's gonna be a lot richer than you and I. James Arthur stayed. Yeah,
not hard.
James,
not hard.
It's not very hard. Yeah, I think most of the commenters probably are. Listen, anyways.
Look at it's not hard to do. I even got a doll who's only got one arm because I can't afford to have two. That's it.
That's
my son gave that to me.
Listen, all right. I love your self-deprecation. Listen, next up, James Arthur stayed on stage, did one of his own songs,
Ooh,
so You Won't Let Go, which popped off. It was so good, and then boom, Chase Goring shows up.
Which was cool.
Which was great, and they did this little guitar duet, and he has such a different voice than James Arthur. I mean, their duet was really good, man. It was great.
The tonal differences in their voices made the duet really nice.
It really did.
And I think Chase is going to be really big. I think you're going to see him doing big stuff, man.
Guarantee
I really think he's going to be there.
Guarantee it. Also, my quick buy. I can't wait to get that guy's album. Next up was a little contest between the judges on who knows more. I mean,
how did you do?
I think I got like 2 or 3 of the questions right. But I think I guessed one of those 3 easily.
Yeah.
I love how Mel B, when asked what award AGT won, she was like, the Oscars?
That can't be real. I mean, I guess it was. That one was real. There was some stuff in there that was not real, though.
And Tyra was like, "Yeah, girl, it was the Oscars." At that point, she was just like trying to be nice. She's like, "Yeah, that's probably right."
It's hard to tell if they set that up and just kind of acted through it because it was so ridiculous.
I don't know if Mel B's that good of an actress, man.
They make Mel B kind of out to be an idiot. I got all but 2 of the things right. I didn't know that Bianca Ryan was the youngest winner, and I didn't realize that 75 was the number of finalists that had performed over the years. And Simon Cowell, I love his answer. She's like, "How do you know that number?" And he's like, "I'm the producer.
I'm the producer of the show."
That was awesome.
Yeah,
I was like,
perfect score. The score ended was Simon 8, Mel B 1. And the one she guessed or something crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. They didn't paint her very well.
No, which I want to talk about this now because we won't be talking about Mel B again for a long time.
Okay.
I think Mel B will not be on the next season of AGT.
I have that feeling as well.
I think there will not be Mel B. I think Howie's going to stay. I think, unfortunately, even though Simon is good at his job, I think that him being there changes everything because he's the boss. And even though he's a good judge and he's nothing really bad to say about him except for those couple bad buzzers and all that, which you can go back and look. I've ranted enough about that. He's not bad, but I feel like his presence changes everything because he is literally the boss. So,
yeah, I mean,
I wish he wasn't there because it messes with the flow.
No, you're right. There were times this season where he kind of made the decision. I mean, or he was able to kind of force them into making the decision, especially with Sarah and Hero, which ended up being a great call. And the one thing I like about Simon is that Simon said, "I'm not usually wrong about these things." You know, he said that a couple of times. And the reality is, the truth is that he's right. He usually is correct. The one thing I've always loved about Simon over the years is he usually gets it right.
Right.
So I like seeing him as a judge. And I'll be honest with you, I would not mind at all seeing Heidi come back. Heidi actually impressed me through the end of the show. She really kept it real for a lot of times, and some of the things she said. She kept it real on Preacher's performance.
Yeah, and she didn't taint the waters though with during the
Right.
during the America voting time.
She didn't drag anybody down. She was a real pro, and I didn't really think that way about Heidi. This is her 5th year of judging.
Well,
so.
I mean, after 5 years, you better start figuring out how to do it. That's for sure.
Yeah, she finished strong. Really strong.
You know how we feel about Howie. I like Howie, so I hope it's Howie. I hope Heidi stays. I hope Howie stays. Simon again. He's good, but his presence there to me, makes the water a little less clear. But I do not see Mel B staying, which is unfortunate for us because we're not going to have someone to rag on every episode.
Oh, I'm sure we'll find somebody to rag on.
I'm sure we will.
And here's the other thing: is Simon. If Simon goes, though, you gotta have somebody who's strong, who can be the leader. In the past,
like
it was
Howard Stern.
Howard Stern, or it was Piers Morgan, or even maybe David Hasselhoff. For a little while there.
Yeah.
But they're going to have somebody strong. I don't see Simon going. I think you'll get at least one more year of Simon. He's not doing other shows. I don't think he's doing I think he's doing a lot of stuff in Britain, but I think this is the only thing he's doing in America. So unless he starts a new show, I think we'll see him one more time. But you're right. Let's bring in somebody. Let's bring in another American judge. I'm not against
American
foreigners, but we don't have an American judge. We've got a Canadian, we've got a couple of British people, and we've got a German. Right. So it'd be cool to have an American judge.
Nothing wrong with that, but one American judge might be good. Just one.
No, it might be fun. Bring in somebody who's very American. Who could we bring in? I don't know. Do you got anybody you'd like to see actually come in and do it?
Let me think for just 1 second. Liev Schreiber.
Okay. Oh wow. Okay, that would be interesting. I'm gonna say Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx. Oh yeah,
wouldn't that be great?
Better. Jamie Foxx, Chris Rock.
Oh yeah.
A comedian, a strong comedian would be fantastic.
Yeah, or somebody. Somebody like that.
Will
or
Smith.
A singer. Will Smith. That'd be fun. I don't know if they would ever do it, but
yeah, Will Smith's not gonna do it.
You're gonna need somebody who's on the fringe of popular. Who's kind of fallen off their spotlight a little bit, kind of needs the nudge back. We'll have to figure it out. And before the next one comes up, we'll talk.
Before the next AGT, we'll do probably a show about who we think the judge is going to be.
Yeah.
All right. So next up was an homage to Tyra Banks.
It's okay.
Yeah, they clearly reached for this one. It was like half the clips were from like the same episode.
Well, she didn't have a lot of great episodes, so
no, she didn't, unfortunately. But yeah, I guess that was whatever. And after that was the first reveal, where
all right, let's get to it.
Sarah and Hero went out over Evie Claire.
That was a tough one. When they put those up together, I'm like, whoa! It was the first little shocking moment of, oh, I'm not sure who's going to go through here.
Mm-hmm.
No, I wasn't 100% on that one. And I was to see Sarah and Hero go through. Actually, either one of them going through was fine by me. But Sarah and Hero, it was nice to see him getting to the top.
Yeah, I agree. And then after that was Diablo versus Light Balance. Perfect pairing, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely want to see those two. I don't want to see Light Balance versus Preacher Lawson,
I just said there was no way Light Balance was going to lose to Diablo because Light Balance, they have about the same sort of I think they have the same talent level as Diablo. The talent is about the same. There's dancing involved with both of them.
Yeah.
But the entertainment factor of Light Balance is so much greater than Diablo. I was like, there's no way Diablo beat them in head-to-head voting.
And you were right. You were right. Light Balance won out. That was good to see. Then it was Preacher versus Darcy.
Whoa!
Preacher was like, oh, great. I'm up against Darcy. This is going to end up well. He already knew the second they called his name, he knew he lost.
He knew, and everybody knew. I mean, even Darcy knew. She looked just distraught up there. I mean, I want to talk more about Darcy going in as she got her win and the difference in the way she portrayed herself versus the way Angelica did, Angelica. But I knew that Preacher was in trouble last night when my wife turned to me and said, he wasn't even funny when he did his performance the night before. And she said, what was that weird thing he did where he just kind of, you know, he took a plunge. He had his Andy Kaufman moment, right? His man in the moon moment, or man over the moon. And he went for it. He tried to do something that would be memorable. And I think it didn't work. And I think America went, yeah, not voting for him. Because he had a chance, man, to be in the top 5. He had a chance to, I think, to be in the top 3 if he'd had a strong set. But it didn't quite work out.
Yeah,
so.
he's still top 10 AGT. He's still going to get whatever he needs. He'll be fine.
He's still great. I would watch him. But I think when he walked up with Darcy, I mean, I don't think anybody was surprised.
No, and he wasn't surprised. You kidding me?
Yeah.
He was like, the whole time, he was like, oh, great. All right. Yeah. Darcy Lynn. And on his Twitter and all of his interviews, he says, I'm not going to win this thing. Darcy Lynn's going to win this thing. He was even saying it before. So it's sort of poetic that he got put up against her.
I'm sure that's why they did it, because it's been so much in the media, him talking about it.
Yeah, and him giving little Darcy a hug afterwards was like, I like Preacher a lot, man. Like,
yeah.
I just think he's a good dude. I think he's funny. I think he has a good heart. And I really, really hope that he does other stuff that we can support. He's a funny guy. And he's a funny, nice guy who just, like, has so much love. And I really want to see more of Preacher Lawson in the future, you know? Hopefully there's a show that we're going to cover that has Preacher Lawson. That'd be great.
That'd be great. You know, also, you know, we'll just have to reach out to him after he gets going a little bit and see what happens. Before we make another AGT, we can reach out to his people and see if we can maybe get him on the show.
That'd be great. That'd be fantastic.
Speaking of which, we can now say it. We were planning actually to have Merrick Hanna on the show.
Merrick Hanna, yeah.
And that fell through with the switching of his semifinal. And then something happened with AGT where they kind of shut down the interviews, so we weren't able to make that happen. We're actually still trying to get approval to be able to send Merrick his box that he won.
Yeah.
So
we were actually speaking to Merrick's parents. We were planning on having him on the show, and then they switched when he was going to perform, so it wasn't possible. And then AGT was like, no more interviews. So we almost had it, man. We almost had Merrick Hanna on the show.
Yeah, we really wanted to have him on for you. So we'll try to work on getting somebody down the road before the next AGT comes up. Somebody who was on the show who'd be willing to come on and do an interview just to talk about how it went.
That'd be really fantastic. Next up was Keji versus Angelica Hale. And
not a big surprise.
Not a big surprise there.
Saw that coming.
Yeah, saw that coming. Angelica Hale just so damn talented. It's crazy.
Well, especially seeing them sing next to each other just a few minutes earlier. You know, it was like, oh, you know.
Yeah, that made
unless
it pretty
America.
Obvious.
Yeah.
And then, going into the final portion of this, seeing those two on stage, I was pretty positive. I already knew Darcy was going to win, but I thought for a minute there might be a dark horse. It might be possible. It's possible that Angelica somehow edges people out because more people like singers than they do ventriloquists. They might not run it, but I was almost positive that it was going to be Darcy, but I had a small little tiny inkling of doubt.
Yeah. Are you talking about in the top 5 when you saw the top 5? Or when you saw them standing next to each other?
When I saw them standing next to each other.
Well, let's do the top 5 first. Let's do the top 5.
Okay.
So of course Sarah and Hero went out first.
Yeah.
And Sarah was like, "Yeah, okay." Yeah. I feel, even she felt like, I kind of went as far as I'm going to go.
Yeah, she was like, okay, all right.
Yeah, and you know what I liked about the show? They actually said goodbye to the people who got voted out. Mm-hmm. I like that. It felt wrong in the semifinals to just ceremoniously send people away without saying, thank you for being on the show.
Right.
I felt hollow. That was, if the production needs to change something, change that. If they get that far in the show, if you get to the semifinals, you should get a goodbye for 15 seconds or whatever, 10 seconds. So I really liked they did that here in the finals and said, hey, Chase, hey, and Sarah, thank you. And then now get off the stage. So, but were you surprised? Were you surprised to hear Mandy Harvey go 4? I was.
To go 4?
Yeah, she was next off. She was 4th.
Oh yeah. I wasn't. No, I wasn't surprised. What
I
should I
was
have been?
surprised. I really felt
I mean,
like
I expected
Mandy
her to be
Harvey had a
top
big enough
three,
following.
but at this point, to me, and once you're top five, it's like, okay, now who wins? Like,
Well, see, what I thought was that Angelica Hale is the better. This is what I love. This is why I loved the show so much last night, because I thought it would be Mandy and Darcy standing next to each other at the end. I just felt like America heartstring voting would go there, but I was so pleased to see that America voted by talent
yeah.
instead. That was so nice to see that actually go down that
Which
way. It
Mandy
means
is
that people
super
think
talented.
like they should. Right.
Mandy's super talented, and I expected her to be standing next to Darcy Lynn too. But remember, we both talked about it might be Angelica Hill can definitely take that spot from Mandy Harvey. So
right. I just didn't, honestly, in my heart, I didn't think it would actually happen. But it was I was pleasantly surprised for
That's why I felt that way, though, when I saw him standing there. I'm like, oh, well, Angelica Hill has a good shot of winning this. I mean,
yeah,
obviously, Darcy, I feel like Darcy's going to win, but Angelica still can. Like, it's not already in the bag yet, but of course it was.
You know, and funny, Light Balance ended up exactly where I thought they would.
Yeah.
Third place. I really felt like they were going to be the third place.
I thought they were going to be fourth place. I thought it was going to be Darcy, Angelica, Mandy Harvey, Light Balance, and then I was hoping for Preacher.
yeah, you had Preacher in there, and I wanted Preacher for you too. I wanted Preacher because he's a nice guy, and I sort of thought he actually had a really big following, and people liked him so much that even though he's not the greatest comic ever, I mean, he's so likable that I thought his voting would be better.
Yeah, so did I. I mean, it doesn't matter. He got top 10.
Yeah.
So once we get to the final two, it's Darcy versus Angelica. Fight! I'm kidding. Although that'd be a hilarious
no, there was
fight.
some of that there. There was some of that there. No, I want to talk about that.
Okay, let's talk about it.
Yeah, so here's Darcy shaking, just completely like, you know, she even says, it doesn't matter who wins at this point, right? She's almost sickened at the idea of having to compete, you know? But Angelica Hale was like this. She was focused and she was staring. She didn't even look at her. She didn't even look over at Darcy, man. She was like, I'm in it to win it. They asked her several times. That little girl, you watch out for her, man. She's all business because she wanted to win last night. She didn't fall to the floor because she was like relieved. I mean, maybe because she was relieved, but you know, it was two totally different mentalities.
Yeah, and she was really confident too. When she was up against Ketchy, she was.
Yeah.
She seems happy regardless. It's weird, man. She is definitely in it to win it. That's for sure.
Yeah, I felt like that. You know, and that was another reason why I like Darcy so
much.
Like
headlights, like, you know.
It was almost like, and I know this feeling. You know, when you're almost embarrassed because you kind of know you're the front runner. You kind of know it's supposed to happen, and you almost are. You know, even though you're used to the limelight, you kind of don't want that spotlight on you for that second. You kind of, there's some people out there who just like to push it away. And I think that's what Darcy was going through at that moment. And she knew that in order for her to win, somebody else had to lose. And she likes these people.
Right.
And I like that about Darcy. I like that about her.
Yeah. And when they called her name, boom, she got it. Her brothers came on stage. I now want to see them in a reality show.
You want to see everybody in a reality show.
I mean, they look so funny, man.
No more time to watch
they were happy and just fun.
Yeah, no, that was good.
You know, every once in a while you see people on these shows, you're like, I think they're better people than me. You know, they're just like, they're kinder to everybody around them. They're more positive. Life is easier, and you know.
Listen, bro, you're a great person.
You gotta start worrying about your own optimism levels. You know.
No, you're a great person, man. You ain't got to worry about nothing. You're a great guy.
I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah.
So that was a great. We saw Darcy win. You know, there's that moment where Angelica was walking off stage and she looked like she was a little upset, which is understandable. But I think she's going to be just fine. She was runner-up at 12 years old on America's Got Talent, bro. She's gonna be just fine. Do not worry, Angelica. You're going to be a pop star in 5 years.
Yeah, and they're not going to put a child act in Vegas anyways. So even if she had won, I mean, at least Darcy's got a shot to do some showings in Vegas. You know, and as she's growing up, she might do a few shows. She's not going to have obviously a a steady show there. She's got to grow up still.
Right.
But very, very good.
Yep, and the amount of confetti that came down was like excessive.
Always try to beat those numbers.
I know.
It's always bigger and better, right? What they say, more votes than ever before. Yeah. I don't think I've ever had a show that didn't say we had more votes this time than we've ever had before. I
want one season where I'm like, listen, this year's votes was less than last year's. We gotta worry about it. Imagine if they're just honest, like, we're better. Down like 12% in voting, guys. Come on.
That would be a great show.
Right. Yeah, and that was it. And you know what I gotta say? It summed up. This season was fun to watch, Shane. It was fun to watch. It had its ups and downs, a lot of downs and a lot of ups, and some downs again. It's a little more down. And I don't like this season in relation to the other 11 seasons, but I like this. If you self-contain this season as one thing, I could say, if this is a brand new show, I'd be like, hey, man, there's a lot of fun there, a lot of potential. I can't wait to see it next year. But in relation to the other 11 seasons, there's some changes that got to be made. You made changes. They didn't work out. Please fix them. The production mainly needs to be adjusted. The whole not letting the losers talk during the semis, the telegraphing of the acts, the very long, drawn-out intros for the people that are going to win versus the one that don't.
Well, yeah. I mean, there are some things about the show I didn't like, but I tell you one thing. The right person won the show this year. That doesn't happen every year. And the most talented person doesn't always win. And this year, it happened. So right. I'm pleased from that perspective. And I think America did the right thing. They voted the right people. And that doesn't always happen. So I like that.
Okay. Well, that's it. We'll be back tomorrow. That's it for AGT. That's it. No more AGT, guys.
But one more AGT. One more AGT thing.
Okay.
Because we got to talk about it's coming back. So we'll be back.
It is, yeah.
Okay, so auditions coming up. So anybody interested in knowing about audition dates, it's all over the internet. But Orlando auditions in November. And Cincinnati, Savannah, Georgia, Milwaukee, Houston, Las Vegas, New York, Nashville. There's audition cities coming up. And, of course, we're going to be back here to cover AGT when it comes back again next year.
I think, and if I could talk Shane into it, it's going to happen. I think that you and I should audition for America's Got Talent.
I have absolutely zero talent.
No, our talent, okay, it's minimal, but it's still there. Okay. It's us riffing on other people, right? So what we do is we'll put GoPros on our heads. We'll go out there in like multicolored tuxedos, and we'll just riff on the judges. We'll be instantly thrown out. Instantly. We won't win anything.
It'll be over quickly.
But the footage will be good enough for us to put on our own YouTube page.
And then immediately get sued by AGT.
Yeah, by NBC. Okay.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That's it. Remember, though, okay, we're not over. Right? Our show is still happening. We don't ever end.
Let's talk about that.
When our season 2 ends here in, I guess, 2 episodes, it'll be season 3 the next day.
Right.
Okay? We don't go away. That means that we have other shows coming up. Shane, would you like to do the rundown?
Yes, let's talk about it. So we've got Survivor coming up here in the next couple weeks. We'll get the first episode of Survivor, and we're going to be covering Survivor for the entire season. They're actually doing, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Survivor, but it shows the longest running reality TV show. It's great, and you guys should follow it. If you're following AGT, come on over, follow us to Survivor, and we'll watch people have horrible times in the wilderness trying to survive.
Woo, that's gonna be fun.
Competitions get together and vote each other off. It'll be fun.
You might not even like Survivor, but you should watch because you're gonna like this show after Survivor.
You're absolutely going to.
And it guaranteed.
It actually starts September 27th.
All right.
Is the first episode, so we'll be around to do that.
I like how they're always like, here's a major show for you to cover, and then a week later, here's another major show for you to cover.
That's how it works for us. So we've got Survivor. That's our reality show that we're covering right now. So we also have the Orville, which is one of our sci-fi shows,
right?
That we're covering Thursday nights. It's for Friday podcasts or for Friday shows. The Orville is a Star Trek. a funnier version of Star Trek, basically.
It's not a Star Trek show. It just has a lot of Star Trek-esque characteristics that has and comedy interweaved in there. The very first episode is like, I don't know if I like this. The second episode's much, much better.
Fantastic.
It's gonna get better, guys. We're almost positive that we're gonna end up loving this show. We've already started to like it a lot more than we thought we would.
And it's created by Seth MacFarlane from Family Guy.
Family Guy,
he's doing
American
a lot
Dad,
of stuff.
all that. So check it out.
Then,
that's on Fridays.
check that out. That's on Fridays. So that's actually our next show coming out tomorrow.
And then we do movie reviews. Not every movie, but big blockbusters that we think we'll like. We basically watch that and then do the show the next day.
Right. Manners maketh a man. So we've got the Kingsman: The Golden Circle coming out
and that's
tonight.
our Saturday show.
Right, which coming out tonight, tomorrow, so we'll cover that on Saturday. And then also coming up, we got movies like Thor Ragnarok we're going to be covering, Star Wars,
Jumanji,
the Last Jedi. We're doing Jumanji. There's some cool stuff.
I know we shouldn't be, but it looks fun, okay? The Rock is hilarious.
No, we're doing Jumanji,
We're doing Jumanji, bro.
That's going to be great. The Rock's going to be fun. But other shows. So if you're not into that stuff, if you actually want Star Trek and you don't want the Orville, we're going to be covering Star Trek Discovery
Mondays
on Sunday nights, and we'll be doing those on Mondays. And then, of course, The Flash will be back, and we covered The Flash last year. If you're a fan of those shows, we'll be doing The Flash on Tuesdays, I think, for Wednesdays.
Right. So basically, almost every day of the week, except for Sundays and Tuesdays, we'll have shows. And who knows? If something happens on Monday night and we need to cover that, then we'll do a Tuesday show. But
and we'll
only Sundays we'll have off because, we need time with our families.
Yeah, that's what they keep telling us.
That's what they keep telling us. Yeah. All right, so that's it. We'll see you guys back tomorrow for the Orville review. And then the following day for the Kingsman review. And then Sunday, the boxing video. And then Monday, Star Trek Discovery. And then we take off Tuesday. And we'll start this thing up again on Wednesday. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much for the subscribes. If you're not a subscriber, please hit that button. Please like. Please comment. Please tell us if you disagree or agree. Either way. If my hair is messed up. If you have any ideas how to deal with these highs other than shaving my head, that'd be great too. Hit the alert button. We need alerts. You don't know if our videos come up if you don't hit the alert button, guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
All right, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.